Hey team, Sam here. Just got an important update to show you through. It's quite a big one, so yeah, we'll cover it in a few different parts. Basically, there's been four major changes to Next Minute. There's the ability to add customer-specific markups and margins. There's the ability to add system-wide specific markups, margins, and labor rates. There's the ability to add job-specific markups and margins, as well as labor rates, and also to set specific labor rates for your staff members. Now, as you might be aware, if somebody is doing a timesheet entry at the moment, or in the past I should say now, and they click on plus to select the day they're working on, then they select the relevant job they're working on, they are presented with this screen where they select the labor rate or their name if you've got it set up in that respect. Now, sometimes that can cause a little bit of confusion, and there's times where it causes inaccuracy because somebody might choose the wrong rate when they're adding time. So we've kind of eliminated that step. Now, I'll show you that piece first. If you go into your staff members, so I'm just going to go through contacts in this respect and then go to users. And if I click on Mr. Subby, just a dummy user I've got there, right down here you'll see user specific default rates. And if I click in there, I can basically assign a default rate to the relative staff member so they're always using that rate. I'll go with standard hourly rate and then hit save. Now what that means is if a staff member now, so Mr. Subby, goes through to do a timesheet entry, they click the relevant day they're working on, the plus, they select the job, then it's going to basically take them straight through to entering their time. As you can see, I'm under my timesheets, not Mr. Subby, so I've still got these rates. So let's go back. I'll go to Mr. Subby, click on the plus, select the job, straight through to the hours. So no more selecting rates. Now that's part one, I guess, of this release. Now the next part I want to talk about is the system-wide, I guess, rates that you might want to set up. And to do so, you go to Admin, and across to Settings, up the top there, and you'll see Subscription Default Rates / Markup. Now what this allows you to do is basically set default materials charges markup or margin, and the same for disbursements and other charges. So if I tick this box, I could maybe pop in 15% markup on all my materials in the system. And what that allows you to do is basically when you upload your price list from your supplier or you're adding materials in, whenever those are added to a job, it's automatically going to pop 15% markup on those materials. As I said, same for disbursements and other items. And if you're inviting any staff members into Next Minute that don't have rates already set up for them, you can set a default in there and choose from the labor rates that you've got there. So whenever they're doing a timesheet entry and they don't have a labor rate set for them, the system's going to default to whatever labor rate you set. So something to keep in mind. Excuse me. Now the third part of that is if I go to jobs now, go into an existing job or add a new one, you'll see if I scroll down here just on the right hand side, and underneath your charges there's job specific rates, markup or margin. So a scenario you might want to use that is if you've got a large job you're doing, or a job for a customer, and you've got agreed rates, you can come in here and set these rates in this area rather than using the site-wide rates. What this is going to do is allow you to set specific rates for this job. So even if, as I mentioned before, I had 15% markup on my materials, this job I might want to just have 10% markup, and that's going to apply to this specific job. You can also set specific hourly labor rates for this job as well. So as you can see, it's quite an extensive amount of work that we've done in the background here, and quite a bit of customizability if you need it. That's what I want to point out. You don't have to use this, it's just if you want to use this. Okay, I'm just going to cancel out that for now. Now lastly to that, there is also customer specific markups, margins and rates. So if you go into a customer, or you're creating a customer, you'll see that there underneath the email address field. And that means if you add a customer and you have agreed rates whenever you're doing work for that customer, then you can set these rates automatically. So yeah, rather a large update for us. Stay tuned for the next one. Cheers.